again, so we get to see what LGD thought was the problem with that game, because despite them winning, it was a lot closer than the first game.
Yeah, and once again, we'll keep the same sides here, so I imagine the draft is going to look very similar. Oriana Syndra banned away from Shie, Set banned away from Tally.
Ornn, just get rid of it altogether. Might be thinking about a trade, but it's just not worth it, because the Twisted Fate, while it was the deny pick, did lose the laning phase and wasn't able to find those early ports like you really would have liked to see. But it might just be a good takeaway to continue to have and guarantee yourself having some crowd control for the eventual divers of LGD. The mid lane, I think, has been solved if they go for that. The one area that I really need to see Legacy do something about is not giving Mark Leona enough of this man getting this pick. He's his most played, and it's clearly very important for LGD. Whoa.
This is different. Camille for Topoon is the call here. So,
what?
Gonna give resources to the top laner. They did a lot of Topoon winning into carrying his advantage to bot lane in the OPL. That was, for a while, the identity of Legacy. But, backs against the wall, they're gonna give a lot of power to him early on, and straight to Lilia Galio here.
I mean, you got a good combo here with Camille and Galio. You can pick on champions like Graves and TF easily with this, but it does present an opportunity for Langjin to actually really pop off here. Being a split pusher against a Twisted Fate is really difficult. Yeah, you've got the Galio, but if TF is going to have priority in this matchup the whole time, as we've already seen before, it gets really tricky for Camille to be able to play those side lanes like she normally wants to. And instead, they're just going to lock in the top lane matchup that they want thus far. We've seen Langjin take a variety of different picks against the Camille. We've even seen them try the Jax. The Volibear is one that is a bit of an LPL special. Some people love it, some people hate it. At the very least, you're going to be able to shove the wave and potentially tower dive with Twisted Fate.
Drop air against the Australian team. A bold strategy from Langjin. We'll see if it pays off. Kalista already banned away from Raze. He's been great so far this tournament and even in this series. But we've got the same story, like Legacy on the blue side taking their priority pick, aggressive junglers being traded, whole top side gets picked phase 1, bottom lane eats a bunch of bans, and then we'll see what happens at the end of it all. I'm interested to see if they mix in the Leona ban you've been asking for, Crumbs. Mark has been a menace on that champion. That's Jhin banned, though. Hey, they have one ban left, Crumbs.
It's not happening. He's getting away with it. He's gonna get Leona again. Banning, like, where are these bans coming from? I'm lost in Legacy's approach towards what's been hurting them this series. Like, where has Jhin risen in priority? In a best of, you really want to be prioritizing what the enemy has already shown, not what you think they can bust out at the moment. Jhin is not going to be the win condition. You haven't lost to the bottom lane of LGD. It has been the solo lanes and the jungle that have been a problem here. And this priority to me is a bit weird to pinch the AD pool, especially since Jhin would be a champion that you want to fight when you're playing Camille and Galio. He's immobile.
I'm really curious if they ban Leona. No,
oh, God. No! They're just going to lock it in. I mean, why not?
Yeah, LGD don't need to change anything, right? Oh, I'll take Ezreal first instead. Okay, that's fine too.
Denying it because there's a priority in these picks, right? You know that they might not steal the Leona away, but the Ezreal at the very least is going to have an easy time against Camille, or an easier time that would have been otherwise an Ashe or a Twitch or any other of these kind of champions. And at the very least, Kramer's already warmed up on it. He has a game on this pick already, and believe it or not, that actually does play into these best of series. These champions that have a different feel to them, unlike most other marksmen, especially like an Ezreal, can be really powerful here. You have a submarine combo there between the Taric stun and Twitch, so there is a much bigger late game threat on the side of Legacy that we have seen in their previous 2 games. But at the very least, it might be the one composition that they have finally pulled off that doesn't let Mark pick Leona.
I do like the change in carry here for Raze. He's been good on 2 different aggressive carries. Kalista game 1 and Draven game 2. Ooh, Mark's Alistar. That's a good one.
It's better than the Leona as a peel tool, and especially against somebody like a Twitch. You see him open up, just headbutt him away, and suddenly he's not in range to actually hit anybody here. So the Alistar is going to have an easy time to peel away, whether it's the Camille or the Twitch trying to deal damage. And as long as those 2 members are removed from the fight, it's a lot easier for them to deal with the Lilia and the Gallia, though. So I think that this pick does have a lot of value, yet I'm curious to see how well Mark can perform on it, considering how well he's been playing on Leona and Rakan.
Yeah, also not a champion you picked for the laning phase, which has been a little bit troublesome, although I guess not massively so for LGD so far this series, but we'll see. Alistar's certainly very powerful. Snowflower looking good on that one already, but Alistar's been around for so long. Everybody knows what that champion can get up to. I think this is like the most legacy team comp, though, we've seen, right? Emphasis on Raze being a late game threat, lots of good team fighting tools being drafted, a more aggressive matchup for Tapoon, who's going to try and get an advantage. But the story of this series to me has just been like, in the early game at least, it's just the LGD solo lanes kind of going off every single matchup. Tapoon did a much better job keeping things even in the last game, but Tally has been struggling against a unformed Xie, who's kind of finding his footing here at Worlds 2020. So we'll see how this one goes, because I'm not expecting Tally to win the lane, but we'll see if there's something else Legacy can do to try and get aggressive early on in the top side of the map.
The good thing they're doing from the first two series that they've recognized here is that your best performer is your AD, so you have to enable them with picks that allow them to push that performance further, giving him a hyper carry that does more than the Draven, more than the Kalista is a good look, and maybe it's enough for carrying the game. You have plenty of protection for this Twitch, and we've seen from the earlier play-in games that the Twitch is an absolute menace to the point where it ends up being banned out after it gets a few wins. So really curious to see if Raze can actually pop off with this one. It is going to be harder, though, to find those sneak angles against a Twisted Fate. You are going to be spotted out, and if you can get spotted in one of those flanks that Twitches love to go for, then the whole Twitch plan can backfire. Although a cool combo that you can actually perform with this is that Galio can ulti on top of you when you're stealth. We're going to see if they're going to flash stun this Volibear from the Fog of War. It could be Camille E, but everybody else won't really be able to follow up.
I'm not committing it just yet. W there to slow them down, and Legacy don't commit too much. They'll just poke in, get a little bit of damage down onto the Volibear, who's going to go back to base well before the minion wave is going to spawn. So all in all, not so bad. No wards being put down either. There is one in the river for LGD.
They didn't see all the members of Legacy, so pushing in for that deep vision could have been risky, not knowing what Legacy could have done, and they continue to just group up, anticipating that LGD could have gone for an invade here, and they don't want to allow them to have these buffs stolen, as we've already seen Peanut can be quite sneaky in these early stages of the game.
Also a leash here for Bibip, so going to be pretty quick through the jungle. In fact, Lily is already a speed demon as far as jungle clearing goes, but going to get a bit of extra help at level 1. Xie with that stack deck first up as well is once again looking to try and dominate the 1v1 early in mid lane. And a very different looking bot lane here. Raze and Isles have done a good job being aggressive in their 2v2 lanes. As that's some emote spam. Oh, Mark responds in kind.
Emote synergy from the Legacy bottom lane. That's a new one.
You love to see it. Very critical. A good duo lane synergy. Oh, Volibear's a good champion. Smacking Tapoon around. Again, has lost the race to level 2.
Good trade back, though. If Camille hits 2, she could totally turn on this one, and now Volley has to respect it.
Yeah. Oh, 2 creeps. All right. Not going to get it. Wave too big anyway for Tapoon to really go in, but does hit level 2. We'll force the Volibear back early, though, by the looks of things, as Longsheng will complete that TP. No, he won't. He tricked me. I really thought he was going back. He's going to stay for now, though. So watch Peanut into the jungle. Both junglers just full clearing by the looks of things. Bot side almost all cleared out. Just the Krogs down on the bottom side there for Bibip. And 2 camps up now for...
That's the coach of Unicron's love?
It is.
Yeah, so Volibear wants to stay here because he knows that Peanut is pathing to the top side. So not only does he not want to give up a scuttle, but there's a possibility of the jungler helping out for a gank here. And Twisted Fate having priority really allows Peanut to play this way. And let's see if they actually gun down this.
Who's ganking who? Yeah, better get out of there. Stun onto Bibip, who's pretty squishy, but Tapoon gonna maybe be threatening. Does have to burn the flash, but it's a trade as Longsheng did flash in as well.
It's a big deal, Pastry. Now Graves gets this camp, knows that Lilia is so far away from the second scuttle, and your bot lane's already pushed in. You do have your red side jungle camps available, so Peanut can prioritize getting those killed in order to have those levels increase, and it looks like that just might be a single camp take for him and pathing down to the bottom side. You really don't want to miss out on what your laners are giving you right now. Shoving in these lanes and getting Lilia away from these crabs is a pretty good early start for your Graves. Crab dominance is always a great sign of a strong early game.
Yeah, Peanut gonna get both crabs as well. This is what every jungler loves, Crumbs. Gonna take both the scuttle crabs away. Peanut even gonna walk into the enemy jungle, shoot down the plant, and straight to the Raptors he goes.
We love crabs, and what we love beyond crabs is actually having your team collapse to help you get the crab and get a kill on top of it. So you always want a little bit more out of that, more out of your team for it. And wait, Camille's in trouble.
Yeah, Volibear just autoing away. Topoon getting hit. Hasn't gone back yet either. Ooh, big bite there from the Volibear. Topoon again, trading back. Maybe burns through this biscuit, hangs around. Wonder what the buy is going to be here for Camille. Clearly holding on to quite a bit of gold. Oh, that's such a good shield. But the shield's back here, and now Babip is the one in because it's a bait. The setup is there. No flash here. As the spins are going to start, there's the Eep, and there is the kill. First blood to Topoon.
Ooh, and Peanut was just a little bit late on that one. Babip is able to show up to the top lane a little bit sooner, and now that Camille has gotten the kill, we can actually see if Topoon can carry from the side lane here. If the Camille can actually be a split-pushing threat against LGD, you could have a very different look for Legacy moving forward into the series. It's clear that they actually didn't tilt off the face of the earth from that last game, which is a really positive sign because I felt like a lot of teams would have been that close to victory and you would have collapsed in the third game.
One thing that Spawn has reiterated to me is that Legacy are actually a team with really good mental, and I think we've seen that throughout their playing's journey. Like when they hit some bumps, they were still able to right the ship and continue playing their style. And it's funny you say like, hey, they're going to try and get an advantage for Topoon and see if they can play through topside. Well, if this was an OPL game, Crumbs, this would be going all to game plan because this is what they did so often in their domestic region. Now, unfortunately, very different opponent here, very different stage, but Topoon often got ahead and then they carried that advantage down the bottom lane and hey, raises on a late game carry here on the Twitch. So pretty good champion to try and get ahead in this mid game with your Camille. So we'll see, still very early days, but the first blood is nice, and Topoon with that Sheen is going to try and get aggressive in the 1v1. And
the danger here of the Volibear and why I think that Camille can get ahead is that Volibear ends up just proccing his passive on the wave and really can't help himself but shove. And if you're shoved in against the Camille, that's just a free hook shot into ultimate that just sits you there for Lilia to beat you down with her branch, and you just get killed over and over. So despite your ultimate, we've already seen how that interaction works. Camille ultimate keeps you trapped. You can't jump out of it.
Well, Dragon here over for LGD. Peanut hits level 6. Babip, it's actually 6 already, so had a slight XP lead. That's going to be mostly erased now, as Longxing also doing some jungling of his own. Decides that the Scuttle Crab is delicious enough that he wants it, and we'll claim it there. Bottom lane has been much more tame this time around, which I think we should expect in Twitch versus Ezreal.
That's good for Raze. He's had a great time in these team fights and always getting gold on Twitch. You're happy to trade gold against pretty much anybody else just because you know how big of a threat you are. They're going to dive top, though.
Yo, Galio's coming, but so is Twisted Fate. Red card for Xie. Here's Galio, but that's still going to be a kill. Storm bringing it in as Tally is going to get the taunt, but he just misses the range of the turret. But Peanut going to get branched, but not slept, as Mark's up here as well. Just barely late there for Tally to not save Topoon.
I was surprised there. That was a Twisted Fate red card gank there, but they still have enough damage with all the members there to actually take down the Camille. Volibear was able to shove in, and that's why I thought that this lane could be a good place to focus for the top lane of Legacy, yet LGD just had more members and were quicker to the punch there. Legacy really wasn't thinking that they were going to counter-engage on the advantage that they already got on Camille.
Yeah, just couldn't move fast enough there, as Babip is going to try and take Legacy's first Rift Herald of the series, I believe. Certainly their first Rift Herald of this, like their first Rift Herald. That's going to get confusing. Don't worry about it. Haven't got a Rift Herald first yet in the game. This could be the one. Topoon's going to face check Peanut and hookshot away. That is going to give the objective over to Legacy.
Okay, nice and easy. They get the first Herald. Now, the question is, who do they focus on giving this gold? Because I would not put it on the Galio, despite it being able to break down that mid lane turret. You really want to have that gold be from the plates onto the carries of the Twitch and the Camille. And Camille obviously would love to have it, yet the focus that LGD has on it makes me think that this Camille might not be able to execute the difficulty that is going to be to pilot a win from the side lanes against a Twisted Fate. So I think that Raze has been your man for the first 2 games. Continuing to give him the tools to win these team fights should be your best chance at winning this game if you're Legacy.
In the dark, I think Raze is a good guess. Because again, Legacy often pour a lot of resources into getting Raze ahead. Topoon's still looking pretty good though. Battling this Volibear up 10 CS right now, although that wave is massive. So Volibear should be able to even that up pretty simply.
Volibear will be very glad to just farm under the turret. He's worried that there could be a dive against him, and even GA is going to actually help him out with a Scryers to make sure that nothing is happening here. And just back to farming. 2 minutes for the Dragon. That could be an opportunity for us to take another fight from these members. And once the Twitch has his Blade of the Ruin King completed is where I think he might start to roam and look for these picks before even taking those objectives. I really want to see what they have cooking with this pick, because it's the first time they've played it here at play-ins, and it has just been such a menace for the teams that can pull it off.
Well, Babip's going to spot the roam, and Topoon, I think, already had some inklings. He's backed off towards the tower now, so been pretty active for this Alistar, but hasn't found a roam gank just yet. That's going to leave us 1v1 here in the bottom side of the map, but don't expect too much action here between Ezreal and Twitch. Manamune, they're already done for Kramer, is nice. Isle's just going to force him off the wave. Does buffer through the stun, and Kramer's going to get out of there.
And we could have potentially looked to freeze that wave there, but I think they just want to get some gold and then get the Twitch to reset. He's quite close to that Blade of the Ruin King, and well, they don't know that the Alistar was up for some roam. So if you don't know where the Alistar is at and you can't keep the Twisted Fate in check, which he's going for a play top.
Yep, Goka this time. Topoon gonna get hit up. Great ulti there. Gonna trap Longsheng under, but no one's hitting the tower. GA instead gonna tank 2 shots. And Topoon's gonna get away from that one nice and easy.
That's what you want to see from the Camille, being able to use that ultimate to dodge out on the crowd control. It's easy when it's at long range, but when you are the one engaging, that's when your mechanics will really be put to the test. If he can actually pull that same combo off in melee range of GA, who will also know that you're looking to use that and will be trying to either stagger his auto attacks, canceling it and tricking you, or using the wild cards to trick you into thinking that the animation of the auto attack is coming out. You get to see these little mind games of crowd control versus dodging abilities that can end up deciding many little fights, which is often an underlooked aspect of League of Legends, where these small little outplays can be the thing that wins you or loses you an entire fight and potentially a game.
All right, well, Topoon TP'd back top lane, so I don't know how invested Legacy are in fighting for this dragon that just spawned. And given that Topoon hasn't moved just yet, I'm going to guess they're not interested in fighting it. Isle's going to get spotted on a ward. Going to control what it up though, as Peanut is also down here.
So it's fine to not be interested in this dragon right now if you have a plan for it. And with Babip pathing to the top side, I think the plan is going to be to pop that Rift Herald all the way top. Look at Galio. They saw him moving. There's pings coming out. If they can force a dive onto this Volibear, you do get something in exchange for losing this red buff and the dragon. So I think that's the plan that they're going for, but they really would need to accelerate it here. Babip is just chilling in the back of the lane, but they need to press their advantage now. That's a really far back Rift Herald. I'm kind of curious why that was popped
Timer. There. I actually thought he ran out of time, which is why it paused for a second there, but he did manage to drop it. Of course, Longsheng is in trouble. Babip's going to chilling smite him. Eeps! Going to force the flash. And Rift Herald crashes into the top side of the map. Tally's here as well. Actually a 3v3 potentially here on the top side, because Mark is roamed up here.
They took too long to make that play, so LGD was able to respond on both the dragon and rotate to the top side. Look at Peanut. He's even using the ultimate to deny the minions in the mid lane, not knowing that the Twitch was going to roam over, and he just walks away unsuspecting of a Twitch potentially ganking.
Well, now he knows, because he's going to pop out in mid and get the cannon donated over to him by Isles. But now going to make their way back down to the bot side as LGD. I mean, this is the closest early game in gold we've seen so far between these two teams.
It's a good sign. When Legacy was close in gold, they were able to take these fights to LGD, and they do have some pretty nasty late game insurance there in the Twitch. So I think that this is a much better game for them than the other two, considering that the second one that they lost did have some really rough laning phases out of Tally, so I think that this already feels pretty good despite the dragon disadvantage.
Gonna maybe make a play here in mid. Babip is off to the right, hiding in the brush. Topoon also finished Triforce, so he's actually feeling pretty good in his 1v1. We'll see if he can leverage any sort of additional advantage up against the Volibear. Blue buff steal also gonna come through. That one's gonna go over to Babip, I imagine. Indeed, does spin around and grab it.
So Legacy right now is perfectly happy to play around the Twitch. You're so strong with the Blade of the Ruined King now. You can actually gun people down. And the Camille lane, she's fine. She's fine on her own. We've already seen her outplay the Twisted Fate gank, and Galio can always help you out. But it is particularly difficult to punish the Volibear with how quick he can just shove these waves back. And if he's not under his turret, he's a lot harder to actually pin down and kill him.
Alright, well, Rift Herald is warded out by Topoon, actually. Much better time of this objective control right now. You see the gold. Xie is up 1,000 almost on the next closest, which is Raze. Much further up on Tally, as far as individual leads go. I think Twisted Fate passive helping out a bit. But still, the pressure continues. Peanut's going to steal away this blue buff. Topoon's going to get aggressive. That's a big chunk of damage onto Longxing.
Doesn't have room to go for more. When you look at the map, his jungler's not there, and with the blue buff steal, you know that LGD have at the very least 2 members ready to collapse in Peanut and the Twisted Fate. Looks like we're gonna have a little skirmish over this crab though.
Legacy at full here. Spin, sleep. Peanut's gonna flash out of the way. Mark's gonna ulti, gonna kick him out as well. The Swirl Seed does connect, but bottom side, Raze is the one going in for the 1v1. With the flashing from Gia, is gonna get the stun, and Raze is just gonna eat too much damage here as he will fall to Kramer.
Wow, the Twitch at the same time looking for a fight, and LGD immediately recognizes we gotta get out of the top side, but there is a play in the bottom side, and they're gonna get a lot for this. This is so worth it for LGD because, yeah, you get the Herald, but you're already losing a bottom lane turret and some CS, so this is a big win for LGD, who now have taken the Twitch down, removed his summoners, and can continue to pick on him. The Twisted Fate ultimate will scout him and delete him. Let's see how this all unfolded, because he opens up with not a lot of mana in the first place, so he actually doesn't have enough for multiple uses of his spells, and then when a 1-on-2 is just all too easy. He might have actually been able to 1v2 if he had a few more damage items there, as you saw how much damage he was actually able to do to the Twisted Fate, but we have a little bit of a preview of what Twitch can do later in the game.
Yeah, unfortunately they get nothing on either side of the map, but they were looking to make a play. A great setup for Babip there on that double sleep, but just Peanut used everything, every gap closer he had to get as far away as he could. Alistar obviously can cleanse out with his own ultimate. And there was no play to be had there for Legacy. Topoon, though, is looking deadly here on the top side of the map. Gonna get stunned up, and he takes down the tower. Here's Babip once again. Into the cage goes the Volibear, and Babip's gonna spin around. Stormbringer is gonna be popped for a bit of extra gap closing action, but Babip's gonna have that one nice and easy.
Good kill there, looking for the Twitch, but won't commit any ghost or heal to move closer to him. Instead, just making sure that the Camille can continue to have a swell time up against
It's very spooky here for Raze. No flash. Gonna get stunned up. Ooh, it's a nice little bit of stasis, but he's in a 1v4. Good luck. Isles is here, but couldn't get his ulti down in time. Topoon's TP'd in, though. Who's he going to get? It's Gia that he wants. There's the Galio. Can they make a play out of this? They need to try and trap bomb, but TF is going to get himself out with the ulti. Mark is going to be sacrificed, but he's actually got the ulti himself. Going to stay alive for a little while longer as Mark gets a kill now, but Vip is in again. Topoon looking for something. Legacy need to find at least one kill here, and they will at least grab Peanut.
That was a pretty cheeky play out of the Mark, actually, with the headbutt over and then comboing on that side. But we do get to see where LGD can continue to strike despite the Volibear having gone down the Twitch. They knew he had no summoners, so continuing to focus this lane was a good idea in the first place. Now Camille has red buff, and it looks like this is going to be a game where Tapoon will have to put the team on his back. Someone that hasn't been doing that for this team in the first 2 games, really been relegated to tank duty. Now, let's see if the Camille can actually pop off.
Yep, it's his game to carry at this juncture. Chia blitzing on down with the gold card. They don't have a jungle here, so there's no way LGD should be getting this dragon unless LGD fully commit for a fight, but they don't have everyone here right now. But Vip's going to look to finish off the objective. Will indeed smite it away.
Graves
Now,
is here.
5v4, but going to be a 5v5 in short order. Vip looking to spin around and get the sleeps happening, but he just gets blown to pieces by Kramer.
Oh, they had no summoners there, so LGD had no problem just biding their time, knowing that the rest of the team was going to collapse and they were going to get some kills. So yeah, you get the dragon and deny the Cloud Soul point, yet you're now giving up control of the red side, you're losing camps, and so LGD continue to get more and more out of this game. Even mid lane turret will go down for that objective. So yeah, you deny that dragon, but this doesn't feel like a worth.
Yes, 2,000 gold down. Chia gonna make it even more actually as he splits down the top side. Watch this one again. Legacy did a good job trying to defend Raze here.
So I wonder what the vision was here on the minimap, because they see what's happening here. Good flash there, and then I do appreciate the stopwatch there out of Raze, and then the attempt from the Taric to actually land the ultimate almost came through. That was a really clutch moment. Had that actually been able to connect, then Twisted Fate gets to pour out and help him out. But here's a cheeky play out of Mark there. Hopping over, gets a really sick pulverize, and actually gets the team even more gold on their pocket. Yeah, Peanut ends up going down with a bit of a troll blast cone, but it was just cool to see how those interactions played out.
Yeah, well played from Chia too, knowing that there was no CC left to stop him from ulting out, even made his way back into the fight at the end of it all. Can also see how impactful Tapoon can be, TPing into that fight. The gold graph starting to trend in the wrong direction for the Oceanic fans. Raze, though, going to set it up on a mark. Oh, there's the submarine he talked about, Crumbs. But now the tier 4 is going to reveal the Malthus goes back in, but Vip going to get the Taric ulti on, just barely lives, but Tally's going to be sacrificed as the Galio falls, and now Shia going to chase down Raze. Is the target stunned up again? Longshing's taken down Babip. Raze is going to fall as Peanut gets the double kill, and it's starting to fall apart, Crumbs.
Now, the submarine is a great combo pastry, but when you use it against the most difficult to kill member, the one guy that can turn back against you when there's also a Twisted Fate ultimate, it's not such a good idea there, and that's what ended up happening. Alistar has no problem popping the ultimate and turning things around. It's looking rough there, Raze with his hands in his eyes, just thinking of how can you envision a way to actually win this game from a 0-3 deficit. We see this opening up, and Mark had the ultimate available. If he didn't have that, yeah, there's a possibility, but there's Twisted Fate ultimate to see where everybody's at, and the Ezreal with the red buff just so effective coming in from the Fog of War.
Oh, the dunk.
Turns out bears are greater than deer.
It's true. Bambi didn't stand a chance there. As Baron goes over to LGD as a result of that play, Legacy... That mid-play felt like...
Desperate?
Yeah, desperation.
Yeah, desperation indeed. When you don't know what to do, you're looking for anybody, right? You just see any opportunity and you think, we gotta take it. It just so happens that Alistar is not the guy. This is why I always mention this about Alistar. He's so hard to pick. So when you have somebody that is actually potentially dying quite a bit and getting caught off, and you're looking to play against a team that is looking for those picks of members being caught out by themselves, Alistar just completely denies that. Now you're looking to kill 4 members instead of 5, and that's a big decrease in the plays that you can look for. That's a 20% decrease in your chances of finding a guy by himself that you can actually kill.
And now 6,600 gold, make it more. About 7k. LGD still going, a minute 35 left on this Baron to knock down more towers. Ulti is going to spot somebody who's the target. It is, of course, Raze.
No.
See you later, Sunshine. And she gonna grab that one.
picking on Twitch. They know that he's the one that will carry this game if Legacy is to overcome it. They're losing even more on the map. It's only 22 minutes in, but so far this game just blew wide open.
Tapoon is just giving up on defending the base because can't really do it. Gonna keep splitting here as best he can, but now gonna be forced to TP back in. LGD have already taken 2 inhibs. They've got a minute left on this Baron, and they're knocking down Nexus towers. This right one is dead. Legacy have to make a play now.
God, that single Nexus turret. Yeah, committing for more feels a bit risky there. You've already used so many resources for all those kills. Legacy have reset. They have enough in their pockets, so just backing off and getting the dragon is a fine idea out of LGD. Let's see if they make the same blunder that Legacy had in that last game where they had the double inhibitors and forced a fight that they had no business in doing, because what we were saying out of that last game was this double inhib position is essentially checkmate for a lot of the team. So we're going to look at the pick onto the Twitch. Where did they even catch sight of him? Because I think it was only the Twisted Fate ultimate that's... Oh, there it is. Wow, just from that little glimpse, they instantly pop it and kill him.
All right, Legacy going for a fight. They know they have to do something here. Mark going to be the target again, but Tapoon's found Kramer. That's the real prize. Galio gonna charge in, gets 2. And there's the sleep following in from Babip. Mark is low. He can finally be killed as Isles looks to flash after Peanut. Babip gets 1, but it's traded back as Kramer is not dead. And now Twisted Fate's going to lock up Raze, who falls as well as LGD. Are going to wipe the river with the rest of Legacy as GA's just popping off. Tapoon doing what he can, but Kramer is going to complete the ace as LGD are going to sweep their way to the world's main event.
That's it. LGD have done it. Legacy tried to get the fight that they wanted, but the combo of Galio and Camille was a little too late. The Ezreal was already too tanky, and they can just take their bow as they 3-0 Legacy Esports.
They have all the different LPL team icons equipped. That's awesome. And LGD, I kind of get why, because they're going to be the 4th team to represent the LPL at the World's main event as LGD complete their sweep and push onwards at Worlds 2020.
And this is something that a lot of teams are grateful to have at this point, which is that you get to warm up in the plains. You get quite a few games to recognize what you're good at, what you're not executing on, what the meta is like, and now LGD, what people thought was going to be a team that was struggling to find the right way of playing the game, the way that they performed best, well, they've got plenty of games under their belt to now have recognized it and be a real contender.
I'm happy for Smiling Peanut, to be honest. Sad Peanut's really, really hard to watch. And LGD had a rough start to this play-in. Upsets left and right, but at the end of the day, their strength in many best of 5s to get to this spot in the first place does hold true, as I guess the expected favorite does take the somewhat expected sweep. Legacy, though, should be proud of what they've put in and shown so far. They've done more than any Oceanic team has done before, and they had the ability to take games in